Doug?
Yeah, I've got another question. So, a couple of you mentioned, kind of in your background, that you went and moved to DC or to a place before you had a job. And I mean, that's a bold thing to do. And I had somebody today tell me that she was going to move to San Francisco and just figure it out. She was going to go try and work in solar there. And so, I mean, that's a big risk. How did that all go? It obviously worked out well, but I mean, what was that path like for you guys? Yeah.
I
I mean,
guess I'll go first to make it brief, but um, I came out to DC because of the education again with Hopkins. Had I chose to go somewhere else for graduate school, that's where I would have ended up. However, I did get into a few other schools, and I selected DC and Hopkins, the campus here, because of the job market and because of the opportunities with the federal government, with a lot of consulting firms and a lot of other companies here. It just afforded me the most opportunity. You have to, if you move somewhere without a job, you'd have to basically treat your job search as your job. It needs to be something that you do 6 or 7 hours a day. You'd have to get out there at the end of the day and do some networking, if you have a friend, or just go to, there's energy policy groups and happy hours all the time, at least in DC, that you could attend. But I'd also suggest coming out, looking at the internships. It's not the most glamorous thing in the world, but it's definitely something you can use to put on your resume. And that's contacts that you can make professionally that can really help you in your future search.
Yeah, I'd like to second that because that's the way I did it. It was to the first thing. I don't know if UNC has a similar sort of program, but for my last semester, I did an internship in DC, and so I used that time to, when I wasn't working, try to network with people, at least get the ball rolling in that regard. So when I did come out to DC, it wasn't just sort of starting from scratch. It was that sort of support network while I was figuring things out from an internship perspective. And I also agreed to with just going to conferences and that sort of thing too. Make just you won't be working for a company, but you could make these personal business cards and you can hand them out that way. It looks you can still make yourself look very professional. Make your own. You could make your own blog just to keep up with the knowledge you've learned, and then you can tell people about that blog and say, hey, you can point to something. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but it's just something to keep fresh while you're looking. Yeah.
thanks.
The 1.2, just let me emphasize that the unpaid internship, and it sounds awful, it sounds disrespectful, particularly and it doesn't pay the bills, but if someone were to, go to Denver, they want to go to the Bay Area, and that's just, where they want to go and they want to do it. I think it's a brilliant way to do it. And you can have an informational interview, you can have an interview, you're going for a job, they tell you, we just don't have the work right now, or you're not quite right, blah, blah, blah. And you just say, okay, do you need any freelance work? I would do project work. I will do it for very little money, because what you're looking for are optics. You want to get on your resume that you are employed, you're doing something, and it's positive optics, and then also avoiding an outage on your resume where there is this time on the timeline where you're not employed, you're not doing anything, and that's hurtful. And so, the unpaid internship is a way to avoid that outage. It's a way to get some positive optics. And then you're interviewing the whole time. And you're saying, I'm at so-and-so, I'm a fellow, or I'm in the internship program. I hope it leads to something. But, it's not likely. And in the meantime, that's why we're talking. And there's a lot of stories out there of people who've done that and parlayed it into to something good.